Hey, welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. We're stopped at a marina again, which is not always a great thing because marinas cost money, and I really don't like that. Um, it's a lot out of your budget. But, so yesterday we had a dense fog warning, and we went ahead because the fog started lifting in the bay. We went ahead and went out, and things were just really weird when we got out onto the bay. We went around the point and the fog rolled in. I didn't realize how much it had rolled in until I realized that I could not see the green marker buoy at 120 feet. And that is a lot of fog. Now you can fly on instruments, so to speak. You can run on your chart plotter and go for it, and it would have cleared up at some point somewhere down the line. But it was a little bit difficult because there was no wind for the sails. There's a very slight amount, but the direction we were going made it into a net zero, motoring at 3 knots. And the sea was very uncharacteristically rolly in a way that without sails isn't really great for a 27-foot boat. Like, no wind, but still 2-foot rolls, 2-foot seas, but not chop. Really weird. So we stopped here. The good thing is that we get to do all of our shopping, and it's really hard to do shopping in this part of the bay without a marina, because none of the anchorages are within literally 5-10 miles or more of a grocery store. Most of the marinas aren't either, but they have courtesy cars, loaner cars, some of them. We've been kind of hunting for that, and turns out that the expensive marina here, which is only 2 miles from town, does have the actual loaner car. Now, we could do this with a bicycle because 3 miles to the grocery store is nothing. But, of course, this is the only place to stop to do that. So, use the car. It's a little bit weird, just a little bit expensive. Not really a plan. Of course, they have this whole 2 nights, get a night free thing. So we're spending the extra little bit of money waiting out some weather and getting the 3rd night free so that I can do projects. I did a lot of deck cleaning yesterday, having pressure water and everything. We do have a battery powered pressure washer, which may have not made it onto the boat, and that's really sad because I was counting on that. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. There's always something you forgot or something that goes awry in the weirdness. We'll get another one if we need to. The unit itself is not very expensive. It's the batteries, as usual, that are expensive, and we have the batteries for the other tools. So, yeah, it's really strange. This part of the bay is very interesting in that it is so rural in an undeveloped sense. I'm used to a developed rurality where the highways and the stores and stuff just kind of come together in a way that functions. And this area, which has been inhabited by English, American, whatever, for 400 years. Like, really, Jamestown is just down the road. This area has no development in real modern structural senses, and it's just a little weird, It really is true that out here, if you don't have a car, you're kind of stuck. Plenty of people don't have cars out here, and they'll get a ride to a store, or I've seen people ride lawnmowers to the grocery store, and not poor people, just people. Bicycles, and more people out here just walk. If it's 2 miles to the grocery store, whatever, just grab some bags and walk back. That's fine, but it's a little weird on a boat. because you're almost restricted to having to pay for a spot in order to go shopping, and it's just very, very odd. All of the land here is privately owned. There's no public parks. There's no state parks. There's very little of what we expect in terms of public access, publicly held, publicly usable lands like you see in the West. That just does not exist in the East. You'll find a postage stamp state park that's like 5 acres sitting in the middle of the peninsula here, but that's basically a house plot. It's not even, it doesn't even qualify as a regular sized farm out here, and this is all postage stamp farms. So it's very weird, very odd. Something else that I'm discovering is that I really am a diesel duck sailor, and I don't know how to describe that adequately without it sounding weird. I love sailing. I love sailing small boats. Like, the best thing I can do for enjoyment, for pleasure, is get on something that's about 16 to 20 feet, half decked. So, you've got a little cuddy in there, and possibly, a little bit with a little bit of a doghouse, so you have real sitting room and stuff. But mostly, open cockpit and an ability to put shade up and stuff. But a gaff rig, I would prefer a gaff or a lug rig, and maybe a foresail. Single gaff rig, like a cat gaff, perfectly fine. Take me out on regular semi-protected waters. I would be more comfortable on the bay in one of those than I am in the current boat just as a day sail. I enjoy sailing the smaller boats that much and that way, and I'm not so worried about going up and down and riding on top of the waves. There's no cutting through the waves when you're on 16 feet. And 27 feet, the boat that I'm on right now, the boat I'm captaining right now, is kind of in between, because it just barely tries to charge through some of the stuff and doesn't do a hugely successful job at it, but it's still a little bit big and heavy to just ride on top. So you're not on a surfboard, but you're not really in a bigger boat. It's kind of an in-between. It's a little bit rough, and it's not bad if you have a little bit of wind and a staysail set up. If you've got your staysail up, that steadies your ride. Really, really helps you surf the waves better, and it really helps you surf the seas better, and it's just much better ride all around. I think that was the problem yesterday, in fact, was that the rolling, it wasn't even chop, it was rolling with a much longer period than I'm used to on the Chesapeake, much bigger distance between swells, but it was really high. There was no way to not take it on the beam, even if it was a little bit of quartering. There's just the direction we were going, and there was no wind to steady it out, and you couldn't see 100 feet. So we turned around, came to the marina, did our shopping. We're going to have to do some more shopping. I don't want to abuse the courtesy car, but since we're here, I'm going to buy a little bit of wood and make the dinghy cradle on the deck better. Stuff. This is all just stuff. But it's, I don't know, it's important stuff, I think. So, all of that, I think I am a diesel duck sailor. And what that means is that I really enjoy putting the sails up. I don't want to carry a huge amount of sail. I don't want to... one of the things about sailing a dinghy is that you can get overpowered, you can get oversailed, you can get over-canvassed, but you can still manage it because it's all there, it's all one person manageable. And I haven't run into a larger sailboat that really makes me happy that way. Even if you run all the lines back to the cockpit, they just don't make me happy in the same way. So I'd like to carry less sail and just run on the idea that I'm motor sailing unless the wind is in a really good spot. And that's fine with me. We burn if we're actually motor sailing, we're not in a hurry and we're not fighting anything. I'm burning a third of a gallon an hour to push 3.5 knots with no sail assist. So it'll be up if I've got anything decent for a 5 knot wind or whatever, mild wind. That's 4 knots, and if I've got real wind, even with smaller, with one reef in the main, and a storm jib running at 10 knots, I'm still going 4.5, 5 knots. So there's no problem. I like that. It's not necessarily that I'm in love with motors or that I want to burn multiple gallons an hour or go fast. I just, the little engine going putt 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 doesn't bug me, and I kind of like the control. I kind of like the capabilities that go with that. I would prefer to motor sail rather than try to maximize the canvas to get the maximum passage speed, because that's not what I'm trying to do. Sitting in the little bays, sitting in the little rivers, this is all quite fun to me. I prefer the ocean over the rivers just to hang out at, but I can always anchor and walk to the beach. It's not like you're actually in the ocean when you're on the ocean until you get down to like Florida. If you're in the Keys, it's a different story, and it's the Gulf, and it's a different water, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But I've kind of come to this conclusion that what I would like to do, if I had a preference right now, if I could just swap boats right now, just for an example, I would probably take a very tall and strange-looking pilot house motor sailor, like a Gulf 32 or something, anything. Preferably a catch rig, though. Like, actually a center cockpit pilot house build. SNS 30, I could do it on an SNS 30, but actually run it with 2 masts, 2 shorter masts, and I think it would be more fun. I just honestly feel like it would be more fun. I want to use the deck because I'm cruising. I want to use the deck to put my stuff on and to put my seats on, to lay on. The dinghy's on the deck. We could tow the dinghy when we get into the ICW. We probably will, but it's not that easy out in the water, out in the bay, in rougher water. Towing a dinghy for us at my skill level with that is just not terribly easy. Putting it on deck is actually not a problem. It takes about 5 minutes to get it on. It takes about 10 minutes to get it off because of the reinflation. That's not much, If you're in a hurry, if you're anchoring for 2 hours, or if you're anchoring overnight and you're going to use it once to go take the doggy to shore, and then you're going to leave before dawn in the morning and do another shore trip later, yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, beautiful.
It is.
Good start.
Yeah. Should be warm today, too.
It's at 80.
Woo!
It's November now.
July. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got to say. That interruption was very good timing. So, that's all. Stay sideways.